let's go ahead and get Nick up here from Cork Inc., the Cyber Warranty Corporation. Nick, how are you?
Hey, doing good.
So, Nick, let me ask you, because I've seen a few vendors in the past, and they're usually vendors that are local, out of Miami. Kaseya is a big, thing there. Some of the other Florida companies travel over here. Lion Guard sent some people over. What was it that made Cork decide to get a booth here?
Yeah, great question. So, we actually quadrupled our marketing budget for 2026. So we have 4 times the amount of money. So we're going to be going to a lot more events this year in particular. January is sort of a wash, right? There's no real big event or nothing really happens in January. So that freed us up to go to 2 to 3 events in February. So we came out swinging at the Right of Boom conference. My CEO and CRO was there. And then shortly after that, we sent some of our sales team members over to the MSPExpo. And we're not slowing down, right? We got a Threat Locker, Zero Trust World just around the corner. So we're coming out swinging here. This is our first time attending this event. No regrets so far. I would say we're probably going to be going back next year as well.
So I was going to ask, I assume that because it was your first time attending, that's why you did not go, because you wanted to just let some rookie, figure out the new space.
Look, I love attending events. It doesn't matter if they're, multi-thousand events like PAX8 Beyond or smaller events like your ASCII events, right? I'll attend an MSP event of all shapes and sizes. The reason why I didn't attend that week is because it was my wife's birthday, and yeah.
Okay.
Family matters. Yeah.
We'll give you a pass. We'll give you a pass. So, what feedback have you heard from the people that were there?
Yeah, so Lewis and Francis on my team were there, and the first thing that caught their eye was this isn't just an MSP show. There's like 8 other shows happening right now. So when they were walking around the lobby, hey, you're a telco guy, you're a break fix guy, you're an AI guy, you're an MSP guy. And rest assured, there was definitely MSPs there, but you had to find them, right? Because you could be speaking to one guy that just deals with telco or VoIP or AI work. So finding the MSPs was a little bit of the challenge, but there was definitely MSPs in the expo hall. I was seeing the demos coming through on our calendar from the guys that were booking at the show, and it was MSPs of all shapes and sizes. Some had 500 or 600 endpoints, some had 4,000 or 5,000 endpoints. So it was a good diversity of size of MSPs. Most of them being local. A lot of Tampa, Miami, Orlando MSPs I saw, stopping by the booth and booking demos with us.
Yep. So as a vendor, one of the things that I've gotten feedback on is, yes, they attend and don't realize that it's a multifaceted conference. They're used to focusing on just the MSPs, but yet they're getting all of these people that are either just IT professionals, their local system admins, of course, your telco and your other vendors. But I think what's interesting that nobody's really talked about, and I'm going to figure out a way to talk about it more, is that there are more managed services type things going on in the tech space that we are not seeing in the managed services space as we know it. Are you finding that to be true?
Yes, I'm absolutely finding that to be true. If I had $1 for every time I was on the phone with an MSP that said, I'm not like your other MSPs. I'm not like a traditional MSP. I do this, I do that. Like I focus on pen testing. I focus on AI. Like the term MSP is so broad and it casts a very wide net.
That is true. That is true. I do want to acknowledge Corey, who I don't think I saw Sonic Wall there, but trying to get me to travel west of the Mississippi. I will be traveling west of the Mississippi. I just can't do it every month. So interesting. So I wrote the names down, Lewis and Francis, because I did not remember who the person was I ran into that at the booth, and they recognized me, and even recognized that I had just updated some warranty information. So I was a little surprised.
Who doesn't know you, Uncle Marv? Come on, don't sell yourself short.
Interesting. So was that Lewis or Francis?
It was most likely Francis. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Corey actually responded in the chat. Yes, Sonic Wall. Oh, Sonic Wall was at Right of Boom, and Corey even had a speaking spot. So, all right, congrats for you, Corey. I myself was on a panel here at the MSP Expo, and the room was full. Let's just say that the room was full. All right. So another reason I wanted to get you on here, Nick, was that I was going through my news feed after the conference, and I knew I had seen a couple of things about Cork in the past, but this past week, you guys finally announced something that I noticed in my portal about a week or so ago. This Cork Cyber Score. So that got announced on, what was it, Wednesday?
Yep.
So I wanted to have you come on and chat a little bit about that. First of all, I'll ask the question that I think a lot of people have asked. How many cyber scores do we need?
I hear that. So with the Cork Cyber Score, basically think of it kind of like a Credit Karma or a FICO score for MSPs to educate their clients on their cybersecurity posture. But what kind of makes us different from a lot of these other cyber scores that you see at a bunch of other vendors is that a lot of those scores are external scores where they're scanning something on the network and trying to look in. Whereas Cork Score is from the inside out because we're already living in the environment, connecting to the MSP's tools by tying into their RMM and EDR and backup and all those tools using our API integrations. So that gives us a better understanding of the environment. And from there, we could judge their environment on a score from 0 to 1,000, with 1,000 being the best.
So as long as we've got all of our stack items tied into it, our RMM, our EDR, our 365 stuff, which you now also can look at. I forget. I've got 5 or 6 things tied in, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we integrate with over 100 plus tools right now, and we're adding about 2 to 3 new vendors each and every month. So, yeah.
Okay. So here's the question I have. So one of the things I did when I was doing another review with a customer a while back, I had another report that I printed out. So they asked me the question, like, what does this mean? So in terms of explaining CyberScore to a non-technical person, how are you guys advising us to do that?
Yeah. So again, going back to that FICO credit score type of thing, it's taking a snapshot in time of the client's cybersecurity posture. And some of the things that we're looking at to calculate that score is, how many tools are connected in the environment? How fast does the MSP fix compliance events within that environment? So if MFA gets turned off or if EDR gets uninstalled, how fast does the MSP fix and remediate that? Has there been any cyber insurance or cyber warranty financial protection claims within that environment within the last year or two? And what does it look like from a vulnerability standpoint as well? Because another new release that we had about a month ago now was Cork's vulnerability scanner. So we take a look at that. How many CVEs and KVs are in the client's environment, and how fast is the MSP fixing those vulnerabilities?
Okay, very nice, very nice. A second part of that, the reason I got to add 2 warranty upgrades recently is because, like I said, I had those meetings with clients, and we were talking about the difference between cyber insurance and cyber warranty. And I think I did a good enough job because they said, okay, not a problem. But I imagine there are a lot of people still, unclear as to what that was. I did happen to sit at the booth for a couple of minutes as either one of you guys, Lewis or Francis, was explaining what Cork warranty was to another IT professional. They weren't an MSP, but they were inquiring about it. So you guys still have to kind of work through that, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, we still talk about the differences between us and cyber insurance for sure. We are updating all of our marketing, and we just got a new booth as well. So we're actually going to be shifting away from the terminology of cyber warranty. Instead, we're going to be calling it more financial protection going forward. So it still does the same thing, but instead of it being called cyber warranty in the brochure, it's going to be called financial protection, because we're seeing more of our MSPs not necessarily sell it a la carte. Like they're not knocking on their client's door saying, hey, do you want to buy cyber warranty? What they're instead doing is they're including this financial protection into their cybersecurity package as a differentiator. Basically approaching their client saying, I'm so confident in the tools and services that I'm providing you that I'm putting my money where my mouth is, and backing it with this financial protection, financial guarantee, if you will, should anything go wrong. And while the coverage does still cover things like ransomware and wire transfer loss and the cyber insurance deductibles, the number one thing we've actually paid out on in the last year is the incident response fee, meaning that we're paying MSPs for the work that they're doing when a cyber attack actually occurs. Whereas typically in the past, one of three things would usually happen. The MSP would either eat that labor and that they're out that money when they're helping their client recover after an incident. They're awkwardly asking their client for more money during an attack, saying, sorry, you got hit by an attack under my watch. Please pay me this incident response fee on top. Or number three is they work with the cyber insurance carrier and they might have to wait around several months to potentially get some money reimbursed through the cyber insurance policy. Luckily, our financial protection is instantly paying out the MSP for their work, even if it's only an hour or two worth of their time, because they're resetting a password, resetting an MFA token because of some sort of phishing attack.
Right.
Yeah.
So let me ask just last question before we get ready to bring Eric back. Just warning, Eric, be ready. The incident response. So I've not had to deal with that. Well, let me rephrase that. I have, but it was a one-time thing, and that is a bigger story that I'll be talking about later, because there was some attorneys involved with that one. But for the most part, I've not had to deal with, an incident happening where we had to worry about that. I imagine that has probably been the hardest thing for MSPs to deal with is something happens, the client says, you were supposed to protect us, we're not paying you to fix it. But that has got to be one of the biggest things because most clients don't want to pay for that upfront as part of their monthly agreement where, look, you pay us this, and then that way we'll take care of everything, whether it happens or not. Most of the time we're like, well, okay, we won't charge as much. We'll just wait and, to see what happens. So you say that is your number one payout is the incident response.
Incident response, because again, the financial protection is now baked into the MSP's agreement. So it's sitting right there next to RMM and EDR and backup and all the other services that the MSP provides. Now, if a client does suffer an attack, the MSP knows that there's money waiting for them should they need to remediate and be that janitor cleaning up the mess after the attack. And obviously, there's money available for the wire transfer recovery and to pay off the cyber insurance deductible. But the number one thing we've been paying out on our claims, and we haven't had to deny a claim in the last 3 years, we've paid out 100% so far. Incident response has been the front runner. Paying the MSP for their time and their labor so they're not eating any costs.
All right, good, because that's the way I explained it to my people. I said,
and you closed the deal, right? You closed the deal.
I did, because I said, look, if something happens, that's what this is going to pay for. Yep. So you're not going to have to come out of pocket. And then whatever you do, above that, your insurance will cover because all of this is taking care of that. So very nice.
Good deal. Key takeaway again, Marvin, not cyber warranty anymore. Financial protection. That's what we want to lead with.
Well, it's still warranty now as of this taping. So
yes.
We'll have to come back when you guys make the formal change.
Yeah.
So, all right, let me bring Eric back and let's go ahead and talk about some other stuff that is going on. First off, let me get swag out of the way. And, Nick, I will give you guys a little honorable mention. Your car was a big hit there at the conference, and you also have an updated hat. I have the one that says Cork Cyber across the top now.
You got all the cool stuff. I don't even have the Hot Wheel of the new hat yet. I'm gonna have to steal it from my own booth at Threat Locker in a couple weeks.
Yeah. It was funny because I actually did not do my swag run on the first day like I normally do. I did not go until day 3, so there was a lot of places that did not have any swag. Lion Guard, they were out. Rev.io, they were out. So my friends Brooke, Chessie, sorry to call you out like that. Eric, how was swag for you guys?
It was good. I think that there's a definite rise in the number of stuffed animals being used as swag at these shows, which I think is interesting. I mean, yes, they're cute. They're a little bit bulky to bring back, I would think. But, if you have kids, they love them. So.
Yep. Um, Socks are still a thing.
Yes, because
And
one size fits all.
Well, I picked these up because so one of the problems I've always had with socks is they were always knee high,
Right.
and I do the quarter length. So this is a Ninja One product, which I don't think I've ever talked about Ninja One swag on here. I'm not sure that I would wear these, but these might be evening wear at the house. So, when you go home and change out of your work wear and put on the casual clothes, this might be some socks I wear around the house.
Yeah,
Because
I
as an
was
MSP, you have to have a 24/7 sock.
There you go.
I was very pleased when GTIA started handing out both the long socks and the short socks
Yeah.
at their shows.
Okay. I don't think I've got a pair of short socks from them. I have the long socks.
You have to look next time.
I will. So I will say this. There were two pieces of swag. I'm going to just call them interesting because they're not swag that I would typically call as swag, but they were interesting. The first is from a company called Axion Communications, and this is the box that is part of a kit, which that is a microphone. And the kit actually comes with two microphones. This is a portable karaoke kit. And you have to charge everything. I've not played with it, but the microphones work and the speaker works. I just don't know how you feed in the karaoke music. I'm assuming you either use what comes with it or you can go to a place like karaokemusic.com and purchase the instrumental versions and do that. But that was a very interesting gift. A little bulky, but something my nephew might like.
I think somebody needs to tell Ken Patterson about that for them to give away at Total's booth.
Really?
Well, because he's so into karaoke.
Yeah, but is that what you call it at 1 a.m.? Is that what they're doing?
One, he's just getting started.
That's true. That's true. The other item that I want to bring up, this is a vendor that I saw. First of all, let me say, Cork, you guys had a very good spot in the vendor hall. You were kind of in the middle. You weren't in the front. You were in the back, but it was still in a place where a lot of people would eventually get to you. So there was this company that was what I call dead man's row. So literally, that last row, and the way that the convention center is set up, most of the time when you're in a vendor hall, the last row is against the wall. But in this case, no, there was no wall. So there was the row, and then there was maybe 100 more extra feet of empty vendor hall stuff. There's no food there. There's no drinks. And it's just kind of like people get to the last row, usually turn around and stuff. So there was a lady I met there named Monica. And she is with a sustainable electronics company. It's actually one of three. It's also called Early Recyclers or Early Upgraders or something like that. This was their swag. And it's going to be hard to see and hard to describe. But they have a device where you can put in. It's not this, by the way. This is a replica, tiny version of. But they have a huge machine. It looks like a 3D printer, the size of it. But actually what you do is you put in something like a phone, a tablet, a laptop, and you can drill into the device to kill the hard drive, kill the media circuits and all of that. And that is what this company does. They 3D printed these boxes to look like their device. And obviously there's no circuit board or anything like that. But at first I'm like, well, that doesn't look like anything. But I thought the fact that they 3D printed it was one thing. And the fact that I think she was so happy that somebody came to her booth beyond Dead Man's Row that I so wanted to get a shout out. Again, her name is Monica, and I'm going to put a link to her stuff in the notes. If you are somebody that deals with corporate owned devices and you guys do a refresh and you've got 100 phones or whatever, listen, have some other company do it, and this would be a company to do it. So that's interesting. I don't listen. This falls in the category of what am I going to do with this? But that's how swag is sometimes.
Goes
There
on
are
the
a lot
shelf back there, Marv.
but you can't see it. We'll see.
It's part of the mystery.
Yes. But there was a lot of swag. So you mentioned that there was a lot of animals. There was a lot of food at the MSPExpo. A lot of mints, a lot of chocolates, a lot of was somebody doing pizza? I don't know, but it was one of those things. I'm like, guys, food is not swag. It's not like the bourbon bottles that you can take afterwards or anything like that. But there was a lot of that. And of course, Kaseya had an air tag, and Ionos has the power bank, which I had mentioned that you don't see a lot of power banks at shows anymore. And this one's a 4,000 milliamp. So it's not a, teensy weensy one. So that's still good. That was it. Swag was all right. Typical pins, shirts, all that stuff. Anything
I guess
good?
I need to prepare next time and gather some swag and bring it back the next time you have me on.
Well, I was going to say, did you grab swag? Because I imagine you don't, since you were at the booth.
Well, I was doing 5 days from a carry-on, so there was just no room to bring anything back.
Oh, look! I woke up Corey. Did somebody say bourbon?
For me, when I do my swag runs, it's all about charging cables. My house, my lifestyle devours charging cables. I have them in the car. My wife steals one. My sister steals them. So I always need to get an extra 5 or 10 charging cables when I go to an event.
Yes, I can say this. So I'm kind of down on charging cables. That was another big thing for me where I wanted to see charging cables because, again, that's something that kind of died off. And there were 2 cables at this year's event that were long. That's what I want. I want longer cables. I don't want those short 3-inch, where, the 4 fingers come out. They don't do anything. I wanted a long cable. So there were 2. The problem I've had is a lot of them break too easily, I might add. So I've been downgrading the cable swag. But there's one that has been in my car now since IT Nation. I'm going to try to get them on the show because they have a heavy duty power cord. I like it. But not a regular vendor, not one that, falls in the first thought of what you would think of when it comes to MSP vendors. So
yeah, the one that I got on my desk right now, I think is a Barracuda one.
Oh, yeah. I think I just threw that one out. Is that the one where it's got the little thing in the middle and it's supposed to click in?
I got a couple of them. What I liked about theirs is they also have the Apple Watch charger too. So everything could get connected in here.
Yep, that's good.
This is a good one to have.
So both of you think about swags. Make more heavy duty cables. They'll go like wildfire. That and the screwdriver sets, those are gone away.
Yeah, I haven't seen those recently.
I still have mine from, I think, Storage Craft back in the day. Made a bunch of those.
Yeah.
I use it all the time.
I was looking for one. I didn't bring it over here because I didn't think I'd talk about it. But they're small now. I want a longer, one where it's gonna,
Yeah.
The screwdriver sets let's see, Solutions Granted had one. I forget who the other one was, but they're kind of tight. They're like precision sets. I want somebody to make a bigger, heavy duty set.
Well, and speaking of tools and shows, I have now found a multi-tool where you can swap out the individual tools. So you can actually make it so that there's no blade on here.
Is that a swag item or did you go buy it?
It is not a swag item. I had to buy this one.
Yeah, I just bought one too. I was looking for an old Leatherman style.
Yeah, and that's exactly what form factor this is. And, I've been through TSA now with it probably, 3 trips, so 6 times. And yeah, they want to look at it, but they let it through.
No, the blade is less than 3 inches, right? Or 2 inches?
There is no blade at all on this.
Okay, then you're good.
It has a hooked one, so opening boxes, it's great at.
Nice.
So what you're saying is coming soon at Ignite's booth is going to be multi-tools, right?
Probably not, because I think this is still only available, to purchase one off. And it would be, I think by the time I bought the base tool and the additional pieces to replace the blade and put some other tools in that I wanted, it probably got me to about $120, $130.
Ooh.
Yeah, you'd have to go to that would be a exchange type swag item, right?
There you go.
There you go. Here I am.
If you're in my boardroom, then we could talk. Yeah.
Yes. All right. Well, guys, thank you very much. We went a little longer because get talking swag, and this is what we do. I did want to make sure I give some shout outs to the people I did see there. So Dory Spade, Corey Kirkendall, Lee, Lynn Williams, Brandon Taylor, Brian Doty, Jared Kashner. The Tuttles were there, both Jesse and Reese. People who were not there that I was supposed to see, well, they may have been there, but Brian and Lisa Johnson, where were you? What's up with that? So that is going to do it for this show. Thank you very much to Eric Anthony from All Things MSP and Nick Wolf from Cork. And hopefully we gave you guys a little bit of information you can use when thinking about your next conference. Make sure that you are subscribed to Uncle Marv's IT Business Podcast. Go to the website and sign up so that you don't miss any upcoming episodes or live recaps. Share this with a friend. You can find links for Eric and Nick in the show notes. Thanks for hanging with us and for supporting the show. We'll see you soon. And until then, holla.